So it's official, the higher education payoff is dead. So if you're anything like me, you're part of Gen Z, and growing up, the idea that you had to attend college or university to be successful was drilled into you. Sure, tuition prices have never been higher, but there was no other way you're getting into that white-collar job without a bachelor's. And this is by and large still true. Most companies gate their job requirements to those with degrees. I mean, sure, you'll have your occasional headline about how your Googles and Teslas of the world will hire someone without one, but let's be honest, these are people with crazy work experience. Not your everyday Joe who's not going to get past the now infamous AI screeners without a degree. So we went to college. We spent 3 to 4 years slaving away, and most of the time we didn't learn anything remotely applicable to the real world, but we got a degree out of it. And what happened during? A worldwide pandemic, skyrocketing inflation, and importantly, a loss in the number of available jobs. I mean, I'm sure by now you've heard about the horror stories of applicants sending in hundreds, if not thousands, of applications to land a single job, or even worse, to still fail entirely. And a large part of society still blames it on the individual for not having enough internships, for studying the wrong major, or for not networking enough. But here's the thing, these days, internships like jobs are just as competitive. Preparation often starts your first year, with various online guides recommending things like coffee chats, cold emails, mass applications, extracurriculars, really any way to get your proverbial foot in the door. These days, internships have hundreds, if not thousands of people applying, ultimately accepting only a handful of applicants, with anything ranging from a recruiter subjectively liking your school more, to missing a keyword in your resume or messing up the hire view, making or breaking your application. It's pretty RNG. And outside of direct nepotism, whether you get an offer or not is ultimately up to chance. And if you don't get one, what happens? Well, if you weren't able to run the gauntlet during university, then you probably won't be successful after graduating. Job listings for graduates say they're experience agnostic, that anyone can really apply. But let's be honest, if you don't have a relevant internship, or at the very least something really name brand on your resume, you're probably not sneaking through the screeners. So what's the situation in the job market today? Despite low unemployment rates, the reality is we have a very stagnant labor market. There's low rates of hiring, decreasing vacancies, few people quitting, and plenty of people who have given up entirely. Companies overall have gotten greedier, with the pandemic helping them realize that they could run their businesses on skeleton crews without much hindrance on their profits. Because when one company hires less, people can apply to the one next door. But when they all do, it's a buyer's market for labor. At the same time, it seems that these days, every company is unwilling to hire without related experience. But how can you get that experience if you don't qualify for internships? It's a paradox, and many graduates are stuck in this purgatory, overqualified for retail, but apparently underqualified for what's likely basic administrative work. The job application process has become more grueling. To deal with the large number of candidates applying through autofill and other shortcuts, recruiters are using keyword screeners, giving long personality quizzes or other assessments, which are about as accurate in quantifying personality as MBTI, or the most notorious, making you memorize entire volumes of information to pass their interviews in LeetCode and Excel. Beyond this, candidates have to fight against ghost jobs and fake vacancies. Job listings HR puts up to keep a fresh talent pool, or that they're only putting up because of certain internal rules, when in the end they're just going to hire an internal candidate. So because of this, we have thousands of graduates today being unable to find jobs. When graduates from Ivy Leagues like Yale and Harvard are struggling, you know it's serious. These are places where the degree, not the major, used to be more than enough to land a person a comfortable corporate role at somewhere like Blackstone or Goldman Sachs. And frankly, I think that the state of today's job market is making fresh graduates recognize that there's an issue in the economy. But nobody else seems to want to admit it. Universities are unwilling to admit it. To do so would be the same as turning off the faucet of tuition money. Governments aren't admitting it either. I mean, every other month you hear from them how low unemployment rates are, ignoring the rising rates of underemployment and graduates who have given up entirely. Companies on a whole probably know they're hiring less, but why would they want to fix anything? At the present, they get to squeeze us with lower wages, keeping us desperate for any offer at all. And if we do have a job, we're too afraid to complain or ask for any more. But on the outside, companies are blaming things like AI as a scapegoat. Which yes, AI can automate some basic tasks, but really it's a convenient cover to not hire and keep the masses from complaining. Because while getting a degree never guaranteed a job, you used to have much more reasonable odds in getting one. It's true that most things we learn in school don't apply to the real world, that job experience is and always has been king, but companies using reasons like lack of experience, whatever they copy-pasted from ChatGPT in their rejections, or AI, is just a euphemism for the fact that they have more candidates than ever, and they're only going to hire a few. The truth is most things for entry-level jobs are learnable. Companies just don't want to give you the time to learn, and needing so few people these days are completely okay with hiring only those who manage to sneak in a relevant internship, or have a CEO parent that could call in for a favor. My reason for making this video is to say that if you're a university graduate and are struggling to find regular white-collar work, it's not necessarily your fault. People might try to tell you to be less picky, to write more detailed cover letters, to try to guess their keywords, to have more coffee chats, to network. But even if you perfected all these things, an interview is still not guaranteed, much less a job. The payoff for going to college or university seems to be coming to an end, and I don't have a clear suggestion for what you should do. Sectors like education and healthcare are still hiring, so those are some potential paths you can still pursue. But with AI rapidly making gains, and everyone fearful of an economic crisis on the horizon, my advice is to try to limit how much you're spending on getting educated. With how uncertain the future is, you want to save as much as possible. And with the number of unemployed or underemployed graduates increasing by the year, something has to give.